What is up, and welcome back, everyone. And do your eyes deceive you? No, they do not. This is Titanfall, everyone. And I'm going to let you know right now, before I get any further into it, I love this game. This game is amazing. And as you're seeing behind you here, this is the little intro screen. I sat on it for a while because I knew I'd be making a bit of a lengthy intro. I am going to be talking for a little bit. I don't want to distract from the game, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is on the 360, but my capture card does not do this game any justice. I do want to make one quick mention, though. If you are planning to buy this game, and just like you saw right there, real quick, when my save selection came up, you do have to have a actual Xbox hard drive to play this, and I have the newer one, and you'll see here first of all me doing a bunch of settings. I would highly recommend this, especially go check this. It's a COD layout, basically Call of Duty layout. It's a little bit different as you only have one type of grenade, so there is no tactical ability, there is no tactical grenade and ordnance grenade, but I'll talk about that in a much later video. Anyways, I have the newer 360, the touch button, and I put one of the hard drives in the side slot, which you have to be able to play this game. Next, you'll see me go through here. I would recommend, changing. I looked up some of these, and I would do the settings on the 30 hertz option. I want to make a point right now. The 30 hertz option is a frame rate cap for the first generation 360s that were not completely able to handle a lot of the games at the higher frame rate. This game does try its best to have a constant 60. I have seen a little bit of issues with it, but nothing that wasn't fixed in a second and it balanced back out. And like I'm going to mention a lot, my capture card does not do this game any justice in how graphically amazing it is, and I can only imagine how much better it looks on the one. The first thing I do want to talk about with this game is I got it on Thursday. I went home, I opened it, I played the living crap out of it. I got out of class Friday, I went back to GameStop, and I got the Xbox money, and I got the season pass for this game the very next day. What you're seeing now is the intro cinematic, basically explaining like the human advancement into space and kind of gives you a background. It's really interesting. I would recommend going online and reading like the story behind it, as watching this really doesn't explain too much. I'm not going to go into the story right now. It's not really worth it. I may cover that later, or you can watch many other YouTube commentators that cover it later. So the game, first of all, is gorgeous. It's absolutely amazing. Do I think it's a COD killer? I would have to say yes for right now. We will see when the new DLC comes out if that holds true. But for right now, I definitely would say yes to it being a COD killer, as I have yet to play Call of Duty since I basically put this game in the tray, and it has not come out since it got put in there. Also, this game plays amazing. Aside from one or two issues, it's completely balanced. I love it. I can play the multiplayer all day. You achieve so quickly and you advance so quickly, but there's so much to advance that it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like you're being basically coerced into playing by all the achievements. There is none of that feeling. You advance quickly to get you caught up with the other more advanced players who have been playing, for a long time, or were playing on the one and then got it on the 360, whatever it is. I'm not too versed on the other versions to give my true opinion of the one or the PC versions. So, what you are going to see here is I do go through the training, which is basically the video for this is to show you guys the training. It's real simple, and it takes roughly 20 minutes maybe to do the training. I don't do the best in the training, and I'm sorry for the dark spot here, but that's to show you the loading times are a little lengthy for some things. I would definitely recommend installing it to the hard drive But for the most part, it does do that. I will probably try to speed that up when I edit the video. But so what you're seeing here is the training simulator, and it took me a second to figure out what I was supposed to do. But after reading the thing, there you go. Do all that. Less animation. Pull the handle. And yeah. And so you wait a second. It takes a second when you do it the first time, but if you go back into training later, and you're fine. You actually look up, and then you look down, and you're good on that. And then it starts the thing. Do I want to reverse the look? No. I don't know why you would. And so it does all this little fanciness. And then it says Hammond Industries Pilot Training Pod, initializing simulation modules. Hammond Industries, that's the, you'll later find that's the IMC. And so I do fail this time the first time because I didn't understand, and I thought it actually wanted me to walk. I did not understand, and that happened. I did not understand that you could honestly just dash through this if you wanted to, but it's there to show you the difference in movement speed, which movement speed in this game is crucial, and when you actually do master the movement in this game, it becomes absolutely natural. I do kind of mess it up a bit because I try to do this like it's Prince of Persia, and if you've ever played that, you will know what I'm referring to, as the movement is kind of awkward and clunky in the earlier Prince of Persias, and I haven't played the newer ones to truly give my opinion on that, but from the Prince of Persias I have played, while they do have that kind of parkour movement to them, they are quite awkward to use unless you really get into it. Pilot Training Module 2, Wall Running, once again Hammond Industries, and the wall running is incredibly crucial in this game, not only because you learn, first of all, that this is one of the main ways to get around, and I do end up failing because I try to push off too soon. You learn a way to get around, but it does give you a movement boost and a boost to your speed. And if you want more information on the moving that I'm giving you, there is another commentator on YouTube. His name is Driftor. He is not giving me anything to quote this, but I have seen his video on movement in this game, and it is incredibly helpful. See, I messed it up again. It is incredibly helpful, and is especially once you get into the game and learn what we're talking about with the movement, it can seriously help. And a lot of Driftor's in-depths are quite helpful. And so far, I've come to trust him in his sources for video game expertise. Now, Freeform wall running is basically where you get to test your skills. So we'll come through here, and yeah, at this point, you kind of look at it and be like, okay, so you basically take what you've learned so far for the 30 seconds that you did the wall running training, which a lot of this is movement. The game is very, very movement based. There's a lot of running, but not COD running, and I really like that it is not the having to run a marathon to find your opponent. You can have the opponents come to you, and it's very easy to find your opponents. The game is quite fast-paced, and this is where you learn to double jump. The game is quite fast-paced. It is also a 360 battlefield, and to make another big reference, if anyone's seen Attack on Titan, while the anime does not have anything to do with the game necessarily, it's kind of the same premise with how you move, as sometimes if you cannot go forward, you're going to want to go up, like you see here. Sometimes if you can't go left, try going down, just things like that. It is a 360-degree battlefield. Here's the freeform for double jump, not that big of a issue. And it does take me a try to do this. Like I said, I keep wanting to play it like it's Prince of Persia, but in the scheme of things, it actually ends up pretty well, and I make it through here. So you do go over combat in this trial. There's a couple things I wanted to mention real quick that you do not learn in this, and I might be ruining a tips and tricks video if I decide to make that later. And it's really interesting. One of the first things that you need to know that I learned that is very crucial is Titans will refill your ammo. So, and you get that as like a combat tip. And what I just did right there, so I don't miss that, is that's cloaking. That's the basic Titan ability. It is so much fun, and if used right, can be amazingly crucial. And I'm not going to go too much into cloaking right now. I expect a lot of other people have, and I may give my opinion on it later. Right here, what you're seeing is the assassination technique. There are two assassinations, one from behind, which is where you snap their neck. Sorry if you're a younger viewer, but this is a rated M game. And the other one is from the front, where you basically Spartan kick them. And spinny spin. And that's just me waiting for the next instructions. This is the smart pistol. This is the controversial weapon that you've probably heard about a lot if you've followed anything about this game. It takes me a second to kind of figure out what they were talking about, and I actually fail this this one a couple times. This is my most crucial fail. Basically, what you're supposed to do is let that lock onto him. See, and I messed up there. So, and I do end up figuring it out, and I like wait for a noise or anything, and then it's like, okay. So what you're supposed to do is don't aim in, just let that red lock onto him, and then he dies. And yeah, see, and I still end up, I was like, maybe let's try that. I was like, okay. So anyways, that's the controversial weapon because it does lock onto players. They've been dealing a lot with that weapon, so I expect it to become a lot less of an issue later on. It does actually come to a point, and I don't want to get into the guns too much, 360, that I don't want to get into like, are they balanced, are they not, blah blah blah. That's not the point of this video. This is just to show you that I got Titanfall, and that I that I absolutely enjoy it, and just to kind of show you the training. That's the biggest point, is the training for Titanfall. And yeah, they have the firing range. This is where you get to see your first like big boy weapon. You hit the pistol, and it's like, okay, then you got to change to your weapon here. This assault rifle, it's labeled as an assault rifle. Technically, it's a carbine. This thing is ridiculous, and I do actually end up doing this hole without emptying the clip, and it's not bad. It's a really good gun. It is also your starting weapon, which is ridiculous. So you have the grenade range. The big thing with the grenades that I love in this game, that took me a little while to find out here, is there is almost no lob factor. So see, I tried to do that, it just bounced right off. It took me a little bit to figure that out, but there is absolutely no lob factor. It goes where you throw it, which is kind of interesting. At extreme ranges, there is a slight lob factor, I found out in the multiplayer, but for the most part, yeah, there is really no lob factor. I did get a couple of pixelation issues there, and that's solely my system trying to keep up with the game. Like I said, this game is beautiful, and this game does push the Xbox 360 and the One, actually, to its red line. So I would recommend, if you are doing this, keep your vents uncluttered on the 360 and give it a little break every now and then. What you're seeing here is combat training. This also, like I said, I was kind of just jumped into the game, so I didn't do any research beforehand, and so that's why I look a little bit like a total noob trying to do this. I end up picking it up here, especially with the Titan combat simulation, which comes in a little later. And so yeah, I go ahead and just finish off the rest of these guys. The smart pistol can, to a degree, as you see there, it does curve bullets, which is kind of cool, especially if you've seen the movie. Here I decided to try to kill him with a anti-Titan weapon, which in all honesty is actually surprisingly difficult to do in this game, as the gun really is made to kill Titans. Now you also see here I take almost no damage in the combat simulation, and that's for two main reasons. One, I'm good at keeping out of range, and two, these guys shoot worse than stormtroopers. So I do end up, I believe, taking a little bit of damage just because I'm trying to get into range here. The Smart Pistol's lock-on range is kind of short, which is a good balancing thing for it. So you're not locking onto people across the map. The other big thing is it is very hard for it to lock onto people in the air, and however, it does lock onto people when they are cloaked. So that's just a slight little review. You see me fail to try to get up this wall here. Slight little review of the Smart Pistol. There you go. The combat simulations, there are a few of them, and they are a lot of fun and really, just get you used to that weapon and used to moving. You do get a much bigger version of this map in the actual multiplayer. There is a much bigger version of this map. Now, I notice here at the Titan, that's just a standard, I believe it's an Atlas model Titan. One thing I did not know beforehand that I wish I did, and I now know, is that glowing area on the Titan is basically like its critical areas, or the hitboxes, if you will, for the headshots. Headshots in this game do not, and I will cover this later, headshots do not guarantee a one-hit kill except with amped weapons. Basically meaning, and at this point, if you're wondering why I'm standing still, it's because I'm listening to the announcer. You have a one-hit kill weapon that is quite annoying with it, in the fact that you see him embark the Atlas Titan. You will notice though that the one-hit kill does not exist except with two weapons, which is the amped longbow, DMR longbow. If you are paying attention and are aiming for the head, it should give you a headshot. And the Kraber, if I'm saying it right, has a one-hit kill ability. The Kraber is your best bet for a one-hit kill weapon, and that is, in my opinion, what I would recommend using if you are after that whole one-hit kill thing. The Kraber is also the top-of-the-line sniper available in this game, and it's kind of ridiculously overpowered whether amped or not. And I'll get into what amped means later or in another video, depending on how I feel at the end of this one. What you're seeing right now is the quad rocket. I personally do not like this weapon, and again, I don't want to get too deep into it. The biggest issue with this weapon, if you notice, it does just fire 4 rockets. It is great against Titans. It is terrible against ground troops. The main thing, if you do want to use this to kill Titans, I would highly recommend doing that. And then when you're dealing with ground troops, just step on them. That's the big thing with the Titan. You can, just like with tanks in Battlefield, you can basically just run people over. Especially dashing over them is a fun way to do it, and it makes them incredibly mad. So at this point, I just basically work my way around the map here, and it just basically does that. And so now you have Titan Dash. So it sticks you back into the Titan, and it gives you the Atlas Titan again, and you have the machine gun, which you don't get any ammo, and it just tells you dash left, then dash right, then dash back, and then it will send you down the hallway. So here in a second, just gotta look at that. So it's like, yeah, dash, then dash backwards, and there you go. Then you go up to the front, walk right here, and then it tells you, dashing to dodge things is basically what it's describing. And you see I have the missiles there. So you move forward, and then you gotta dash either left or right to dodge the missiles, which I actually end up doing this pretty well, because of the simple fact that I've played a decent bit of mech games in the past. And if you've played any mech game, whether it be Mech Warrior, Armored Core, Chrome Hounds, any of them, you will feel right at home piloting this mech. And a lot of other people have probably already gone into Titan driving and all that, so I won't do that. And I mean, if you need to know that, I would highly recommend going and watching someone else who's done a lot more research than I have and can truly explain what it is. So you see here, you use the Vortex Shield, which, to give you a simple explanation, is basically a return to sender weapon, and I love that thing. All my Titan loadouts have the Vortex Shield on it. It is the coolest thing, and it sends rockets, bullets, everything right back at the person. So next, what you're going to see here is the hacker knife. You'll see here in a second when I hop out, and I go up to the side here, hop up, come through here, and he pulls out pulls out a hacker knife. This is basically something I want real bad, and the rings will fill in, which you can't really see, and the rings will fill in, and then it tells you, you know, blah blah blah, explaining follow mode for the Titan. You hit the down arrow, kick the Titan into follow mode, and then you wait and you go out. It explains to you follow mode, blah blah blah. I've already done it. And then it explains she's going to come close, and you come up here to meet him. And it's like, oh, yeah, hello, Titan. And then it tells you to get back in. That whole exercise is just teaching you about follow mode and the hacker knife. Which there's a lot of fun things you can do in the hacker knife, and I will explain more of that later. So, yeah, so the Titan combat scenario. So this basically teaches you Titan versus Titan combat, which is actually a lot of fun if you're into the whole mech thing. I kind of enjoy being on the ground a lot, so I'm not the most versed mech fighter. What you saw right there is what they call the rocket salvo, which is a shoulder-mounted, what I call pattern fire. So it comes in a certain pattern or cone of fire. So it's kind of easy to aim, pretty deadly up close if you want to knock down the shield before you start, you know, basically filling them with bullets. So you see right here, I actually do okay in this battle. So just really working on, you know, trying to test everything. Like you just saw it there, that salvo can do a decent bit of damage, and the Vortex Shield is really cool. And so you see they have the caution there. Again, not to get too far into Titans, but that's the doomed Titan meter basically, and then it explodes. The thing that they do in this is they will stop the action a lot to explain something, which in my opinion is both good and bad. It's kind of takes you by surprise, because you'll do it, and then like right in the middle when you're prepared to do something, it'll just stop everything, and you're like, really? Okay. Anyways, moving on here, the big thing with the Titans, they cannot jump, first of all, and it's kind of annoying, but it's also good, because if they could jump, that would get a tiny bit overpowered. So, yeah. It's going on against the second Titan, which is basically a little bit smarter, and it doesn't have its shield yet, but it's a little bit more aggressive and a little smarter. As you can see here, I do take some damage on this, and then it stops to, I believe it's stopping to explain shields. And yeah, it explains the health bar on the shields in this one. So it tells you basically that the Titan's health does not regenerate. The shields do, however, and this just basically blah 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 blah. And then from here, it basically has you fending off as many Titans as you can. I don't do too well, as I'm, like I said, I kind of went into this as a total noob. I don't believe I actually win against this Titan, but it's an interesting fight. And at this point, it explains, you know, ejecting. So it's just like, and gone. And then it shows you how you bounce up in the air, and you can see all this kind of stuff and all that. And if I remember right, you don't actually get a chance to pull out your weapon, and from here you just shoot it and you get talked at a lot. So yep. So that is the Titan, Titan training, and I believe, yep, that's the end of the training for Titanfall. That's your basic that you get, and it tells you, you know, to stay in the pod or gain equilibrium. And then here, as you'll hear, because I'm going to leave the game audio in, you hear a whole big speech about them arriving, and you realize that's a hologram. And yeah, you see your room there, which is actually kind of a cool room. And yeah, so that's the training for Titanfall. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you found this informational. and you see I got an achievement there. That's literally just the achievement for completing the training. And at this point, it basically kicks you into the menu that you see more often than not. And yeah, you'll see here you have campaign, classic, and a bunch of other little options. And that will be gotten into more in the future. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon. And I will see you soon. And I will see you soon. And I